Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we are talking all about some of the best interior design you are missing out on, some things you're overlooking that are holding your home back and could be the perfect thing for you. Now, the first thing we have to talk about that people love and I love to see, and it's a great way to add a detail into a sometimes smaller space, but a high quality space, are contrasted colored doors. And this could mean a number of things. It's not a specific color or anything like that. It could be stained doors. It could be painted doors that contrast your trim. It could be that you paint all of your trim and doors a contrasting colors to your walls, like not just have everything be white, like you could paint them all black. And that would be a big detail and a difference, right? Painting your doors in a different color is a good way to add a lot of visual interest into your home without committing to adding stuff or things or, going with a busy wallpaper or a really highly detailed rug. Having a stained door, a painted door is enough detail in itself to add a lot of interest to a small hallway, for example. If you have smaller spaces, you might not have a lot of wall space to hang stuff, okay? Sometimes a hallway is literally just like a little square with a bunch of doors on every wall, maybe 2 doors on every wall. It could be a lot there. That's okay. Staining the doors and having a contrasted colored trim is more than enough detail to make that space stand out. Now, this is a commitment, right? If you want stained doors, you're gonna have to have wood doors to stain them. Well, actually, you don't really need to do that. There are products that you can fake a stain with, like Retique It. It is, I will link it on my Amazon storefront in the description box down below. It is a paint that has sawdust in it. You can paint it on and you get a tool that makes like a wood grain pattern in it. There's plenty of DIYs out there that are not done by me, but look amazing, that can create the illusion of a stained door, and that's really interesting. Or you could paint your door black, you could paint it gray, you can paint it navy. Love a navy door. But you could also be like, hey, I'm the one, I am the person, and you paint all of your doors pink. Okay, that can be super fun too. And I know what you're thinking. What if you're not a great DIYer? That's okay, I didn't tell you to DIY anything, honey. Get someone in professional to make it look good and long lasting so you get great quality on top of that great design detail for a really finished, beautiful, professional look that will make your home feel elevated and luxurious. Now, another detail a lot of people overlook that could be a game changer in your home is a built-in. And I'm not talking about like, put some bookcases on either side of the fireplace. I'm talking about built-ins that make the difference and that bridge the gap between your home looking good and your home actually being functional and offering storage and being a place you actually want to be. There are a million different types of built-ins and you need some creative solutions in your space if you're going to do this. Example, if you have a room that doesn't have a focal point, right? You don't have a fireplace to add bookcases on either side to, maybe you have a blank wall you could panel completely in a built-in cabinetry with like flat doors painted in the same wall color so it just disappears completely, and then because you don't have a focal point, the asymmetry in the room is not an issue. Genius, I love that for you. You could also do a built-in window seat that has custom banquette storage all around it and like on the sides and below it and everything to really add some usability. Like you have this cool window seat now that serves as extra seating in the space, but you also have all of the storage that comes with it. Absolutely. This is a perfect detail for people who have smaller homes or have apartments where you just don't get a ton of extra storage. You don't have a garage to put stuff in, right? You need the cabinetry, you need the storage space to do it. Now, obviously, if you're renting, you may need your landlord's approval before you commit to like nailing and screwing things into the walls and doing something custom like that. But I don't know that you would be doing all of that level of custom work in a rental anyway, but that's a personal choice and up to you. Another place built-ins can be great for is actually kids' rooms, right? Kids' rooms, kids need space. They need space for activities and to play around and have their toys and stuff out, but they need a lot of storage to put things away. So having built-ins in a kid's room is actually a really good idea. Built-in desk and bookcase. Here's an example of a room that has a great desk and bookcase situation. It actually has a window bench situation, ton of storage there. The bed is also built in. And I think it's really cute that the headboard is like customized with the lighting and everything like that. And that's a next step that you wouldn't necessarily have to do. But those built-in features add a lot of functionality to a small room, but give that child enough space to play around and have some fun. If you can do this in a home, it makes sense to do it. Don't overlook them. And like I said, sometimes you need a creative solution from somebody who is creative, and that could be an interior designer like me. I've got all the answers, so be sure you head to the description box and check out that link, or go to intro.co to book a consultation with me. And just remember, I never started this channel with the intention of having a consultation service. So this is something purely for you that I offer exclusively to my subscribers here on the channel, to our GarrettLeChic family, because sometimes people need someone they can trust, that they can go to provide them with actually creative solutions that are reasonable, that's not gonna be like, burn it down and start from scratch. Like, sometimes you need an answer of what's gonna make your space look good and amazing, what's gonna take it from ordinary to extraordinary. And I've got you covered. Another great design detail that you may be overlooking and you're missing out on is mixing different types of stone together. Now, this is something that's a little bit more on trend right now at the moment, and I like it. Okay, it's a good idea, but it's also a great money-saving idea, and it can also make your home so much less maintenance. It's genius, and I'm obsessed. Mixing stone is typically about like the tile in a bathroom or the countertop and backsplash in a kitchen, right? Like, there's a big thing happening right now with kitchens where we love like this really high-end, super expensive marble or quartzite and all of this stuff. And you know, hey, you like it, it's high-end. It's expensive. It's expensive, and it doesn't mean it's the most durable thing. So what a lot of people do is they're doing a quartz countertop, because pretty much it's everywhere, okay? Every stone yard has some of it in stock, right? And it's a little bit more affordable for those major areas you're covering. It also can be a lot more durable than something like a marble. And then they're saying, but I still want the look, and doing a slab backsplash in that marble with maybe a remnant or an offcut, and they're getting that really big bang for their buck. They're getting that impact that looks like you have marble counters and backsplash when the countertop is really something completely different. Now, what's important there is that this is typically happening in white stones, or like a white countertop with a white based backsplash. The whites need to match. They have to match perfectly. You need to see those two together to make sure they're the same white. Otherwise, it's going to stand out and look weird and look different. One's gonna look gray, the other's gonna look yellow, one's gonna look blue, one of them's gonna look bad, okay? Make sure the whites match so that they feel consistent and like they are a part of the same piece. I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to a flooring store and they just have like a batch of tiles sitting there that are on sale, that are like an amazing deal, and you're like, that's insane, but it's just not enough to get the whole project done. Like, maybe there's enough for a shower, but not for the floor, or there's enough for the backsplash, but not having a reference point in, you know, like the butler's pantry or around the fireplace around, or whatever. But the good thing about mixing stones is that you could then get that clearance stone and get the inverse of it, right? And then mix the two together for a really high-end look. And this actually has architectural precedence, right? If you look at historic buildings, they almost always, if you see a tile floor, is a mix of two different types of stone. This could be a great feature, a way to add an interesting detail, and a way to get the look for a whole lot less. Another detail that is overlooked that people just don't consider enough in their home when they are decorating is scale. I've talked about scale a million times, right? Scale is the relationship of a piece of furniture to the space it's in, or pieces of furniture and decor to other pieces of furniture and decor. It's about that relationship and how it works together. But it always gets overlooked, because you see a piece that's just like really nice. You're like, whoa, I love that piece. And you're like, I want it, I have to have it in my house, but it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. Here's an example. This foyer is gorgeous. It's beautiful, it's big, it's spacious. This is clearly a custom home, okay? But the table in it is like minuscule. It looks so small. It is being completely like made to look diminutive in this space because it's a big room. The table's just not big enough. The scale is too small. Now, what I would have done is either gotten a table that's about 3 feet longer, okay? Like, we just need something much larger in this space. And if my clients were like, I'm really in love with this table, I really have to have it, I'd be saying like, let's find somebody who can recreate this or make this for us that's bigger, just, you know, like whatever. But if they already had it, my answer would be like, let's add chairs or something on either side of it to really increase the scale of it, make it feel like it's a lot longer than it is because it's just too small in this space. Or potentially use it in a different place and get something that actually does fit that area much better. Another example I see all of the time, and I talk about to you regularly because it matters and I see it like literally 9 times out of 10, is that the piece of furniture underneath your television is not big enough for the size of your TV. I don't want to see like a teeny little TV in your space. Okay, I want big, I want to be able to see it, all right? My eyes are not 20/20. Okay, that's beside the point. I want a big TV in the space, but you need to have an even bigger piece of furniture underneath it so that it doesn't feel like a massive giant thing in the room on the wall, and it just doesn't fit. You need to have a large enough piece of furniture underneath it to balance out the scale of it and make it feel like it actually fits in that space. I want a TV cabinet that is long enough to go underneath the piece and have lamps on either side that don't overlap with the TV. That's what I want to see. That's the minimum you have to do for a large television. That's not like custom built in and all of this stuff that I don't think you have to do. Just make sure the scale on that is balanced enough that it feels appropriate. Speaking of the perfect place, you're in it. And so is Arden, the little baby precious puppy boy, aren't you? Are you happy to be here?
He's a dog now.
Some people may say that he's a dog now because he's, getting a little older, but my dogs are all puppies. Like Cornelius, he may be 10, but he's a puppy. He's a baby. And so is Arden. Look at this. Would a dog do this or would a baby do this? This is a baby. This is a baby dog. It's a puppy. Look at. Yep, that's a puppy boy. He is in the perfect place and so are you. Now is the opportune moment to hit the subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our GarrettLeChic family by hitting that subscribe button. You can also scan this gorgeous and lovely, beautiful QR code that will take you directly to the channel page where it is much easier to subscribe. Arden wants to go and he's gonna go over to the computer and subscribe. Aren't you? Or are you gonna lay down on the sofa? That's beside the point. Be sure you turn on your bell notification to get notified every time I upload and give this video a like. I'd also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a little bit of hype to get it shared across the platform. Another design feature or detail you were overlooking are actually the weird features in your house. The weird features in your house sometimes are the best features in your house. And there are some things that are just architectural that you don't find anywhere else, and you have to work with them over fighting them. For example, like eaves on the roof. Like if your home has bedrooms upstairs, like in the eaves of the roof where you have slanted ceilings. I love that. That's one of my favorite design features. Work with it, embrace it, make it happen. Don't sit there and be like, oh, it's a weird feature, I don't know what to do about it. No. It's literally the best feature in the room. Trust me, work with it, look for inspiration, make it happen. Here's a prime example. Look at this kitchen. The house is beautiful. It's clearly been maintained beautifully and renovated nicely. And I'll bet you this original kitchen was completely closed off to the living room beyond it. But instead of removing the entire wall, we have a post in the middle of it, right? Well, imagine the additional expense of adding a structural beam to eliminate that post. That could run you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. And sometimes it just doesn't make sense to put that sort of investment into a home that you're not going to see out of it. So if whoever renovated this space had put a beam in and opened this wall up completely and made an island, you actually would have gotten less cabinetry, less countertop space, and more walking space, which could be good and better for flow if you needed it, but if you don't need it, you'd be better off not having done that. And so they didn't. They have a half wall here. They get additional cabinetry, additional storage space, and countertop space that's actually usable. Plus, a modified open concept always allows for a better furniture arrangement when you have less pathways and walkways through a space, because you can put furniture there, you can put things. But by working with the house and embracing the quirky feature like this post in the middle of the space, that space is actually more functional and ultimately is more beautiful. And not having put the money into taking out a beam that probably didn't need to be taken out or replacing it with something else, they were able to do more with it to renovate the house and use better quality materials. That always looks good. Now, another thing that people overlook in their house, and especially during a renovation or updates to their home, is working with a creative or a problem solver. And that's kind of where I come into play. And I've got a few examples here of work I've done with clients that really made the difference for them. One is I had a client who we found this light fixture we loved and it was beautiful, but the electrician refused to hang it with less than 12 inches of chain. It was just like, nope, can't do it. You can't do that. It's just not done. For no reason. There's not a code that says we couldn't do it. Right? There was no issue, but we needed like 9 inches of less chain, right? Otherwise you'd bump your head every time you walk past it. But for whatever reason, just it had 12 inches of chain. That was what it was going to be. He didn't want to shorten it. And ultimately my advice was work with somebody else, because there's no reason this can't be done. There's no reason another electrician won't do it. And guess what? My client worked with another electrician who did it and it came out perfectly and ultimately achieved all of the goals we set out. And you always have to stick and work within codes and regulations. You want to work with somebody who does understand that and isn't going to put you in a situation where, you know, you're in violation of that, because they are set out for safety. Example being, in my home, my living room did not have a light fixture in the middle of the ceiling, but I wanted one because that's what I like, but it had one in a corner. So I had to install a 1-inch drop ceiling. Okay, we had it like decorative and paneled and done beautifully so it doesn't look like, you know, you would never know it was a drop ceiling if I didn't tell you right now it was, but that was so we could run conduit to a fixture, a receptacle box in the middle of the ceiling, and we could still maintain access to the original junction point of the electrical, right? That's all really important. That's code, you have to have it. You don't want to fight that or do something that's illegal, okay, in a renovation. Another one is a client had a soffit in her kitchen, and it was 24 inches deep, right? Like it came out from the wall 24 inches. The cabinetry came out 12 inches. So now we've got this big, giant, chunky, like square block that comes out into the middle of the room for no reason. It looked terrible. She didn't like it. I didn't like it. The contractors didn't like it. But when she said something to the contractors, they were like, oh, well, there's, you know, like a vent in it, so we can't get rid of it completely. Cue me coming in and she says, Garrett, what do I do about this? How do I make it look better? And I'm like, why do we have to get rid of it completely? I'll bet you, have your contractors look into it, okay? It could be shortened to be 12 inches deep instead of 24 inches deep. So it's just a normal soffit above cabinetry that literally is everywhere else in the kitchen already. Like, why your contractors couldn't have looked at that and said this and given you that alternative answer is beyond me, but they were not looking to solve a problem. They were looking to answer the question she asked of getting rid of it completely, instead of saying, well, we can't get rid of it completely, but here's what we can do instead. You need someone who is going to bring you solutions to problems versus just tell you no. Okay, now that we talked about some things that you might be overlooking, here are some things that are probably getting sold to you on and you don't need them in your home or in your life. Be sure you check out this video right over here to learn all about them, and I will see you over there.